Hello, welcome to Thursday's Travel Talks with Travel Time. We have been bringing these valuable sessions to you for the duration of the pandemic timeframe to bring information and inspiration for your bucket list journeys that you would like to plan for in the future. We're doing something very unconventional today, something we have not tried before. It's good enough to bring the message to live from on board the Viking Orion. I'm in Hamilton, Bermuda. Last 6 days on board this amazing, amazing ship, enjoying everything that there is to do with cruising. And I had no idea that I missed it so much, and it would make me feel whole again to be traveling and enjoying that experience that so many of us have grown to appreciate and feel that it really does add joy, and it adds more meaning to our lives to be able to have that experience of traveling with our loved ones. So I am today on board the Viking Orion in Bermuda. My backdrop, I'm on deck, so it's a little windy up here, and hopefully the Wi-Fi connection is strong enough that it will be purposeful and meaningful for you to share in the information that we have. There may be some noises of people walking by and speaking, but that's all part of the ad-lib experience here. So we're trying this out. I am joined today by one of my team members who is a cruise specialist, and she has some cruise experiences that she would like to speak about as well. But first, we're going to bring her on, and we're going to talk about the cruise experience. Welcome, Wanda.
Hi, Lois.
So I know you're totally jealous of where I am this week, and I do have to apologize at the outset for that, because I know you would love to be right where I am, and I can't blame you, because it is a phenomenal experience. I know you've been watching and checking out the photos that I've been posting along the way, so I know how you feel.
Being a cruise enthusiast, Lois, you're so right. I have been watching every single video you've posted, following you, your pictures, and actually I've done a little research on the Viking cruises as well while you've been away. So it looks absolutely amazing.
Before we get into some of the discussion, I just want to say that this is being broadcast on each of the team members' pages today, but also we've been sharing a lot more information, even some videos and some more details about the experience in our Great Cruise Finds Facebook group. So we will post a link on this broadcast in case you're seeing it on another location if you'd like to join there, because we do post lots of hints, tips, and some great exclusive deals that we come across from time to time. And many of our clients who are in that group and otherwise have taken advantage of some of those as we go. So that is the place to be, folks, if you are interested in cruising and that information is on your bucket list for future options. But let me get right to it. The Viking Orion. So I've been a travel advisor for 16 years, and many of our team members have been around for quite some time as well. If you add up all our years of experience, we are a very experienced group. This is my first time on the Viking Ocean ships. They've been around since 2015, and I just never had the opportunity. And never, once you go, as they say. And so having the opportunity to be on board this, I've been to Bermuda before, love that island. And so when this experience came along, I was right there to go ahead and jump at that opportunity. Looking to get back into the travel thing again. And I know there's, different comfort levels, and all of our team, and Wanda, I'm sure you're seeing that as well, that people have different comfort levels as far as returning to travel and to cruising. Would that be fair?
Sorry about that, Lois. I had my mic muted. But all my clients now are looking into the future, and they're getting ready. They were a little hesitant for 2021, but it looks like the floodgates are opening. Everybody's already accepting the situation as is, and they're ready to start planning and cruising, and they're ready to go travel again?
We will say that the decision to travel is a traveler's own prerogative. And if there's always a risk to everything we do, travel is no exception. And there's certainly, in today's situation, as far as, with COVID and all that is concerned there, people's comfort levels need to be there. They need to be willing to accept that amount of risk in order to move forward with that planning. So we're not here pushing people and saying that you need to travel or you need to cruise. That is definitely up to people's own comfort levels. I'm just going to move quickly because there's a few raindrops coming. So just bear with me. There's a place here that I can move and we can carry on the conversation. Not quite as windy here either, so that's probably a little bit better for hearing the sound and so on. So yeah, back to what we were saying there,
Are you able to explain to us a little the process? If someone still has that hesitancy about actually getting on an airplane or getting aboard one of the Viking cruise ships, just explain the process and how you felt going through those processes.
That's a really good point.
From here to there.
That's a really good point because I have traveled 3 times during the pandemic for family and illness reasons. This is my first time taking a vacation since January, February of 2019, just like so many of our clients. And I do understand that people can feel a bit of, trepidation or a bit of hesitancy, a bit of, anxiety about the thought of traveling. You're sitting at home, you're watching the news, you're seeing what is being said and what is being advised for travel. And that is all, well and good. That is what everybody's role is. However, none of my experiences have been anything that, had made me feel uncomfortable. All protocols are being adhered to in the airports and on the cruise ships. And, that is the thing that you need to be. This is not the time for the 3-star vacation, folks. That is not where you're going to find, all of those protocols being adhered to and everything being done according to what it should be in order to make sure that that your safety is of paramount. And I can speak to this experience for us. There is more hoops to jump through in order to get from home to wherever your cruise is leaving from. And, do the research, speak to one of our team members at Travel Time, and we can certainly help. And we have done, helping people decipher what it is they need, how to meet those requirements, and what it would mean to get there. Most destinations are requiring a negative COVID test to travel, and that goes from the US to many of the other islands. And the time frame in advance varies. The shortest ones are at 3 days, 72 hours. And then there are some that are 4 days or 7 days and so on and so forth. So that is important information. You need to meet those timeframes, whatever they happen to be. And so figuring out, the earliest time that your COVID test would be valid, and that where you get that COVID test, the test results need to show what they need to show so that they meet the requirements. And again, our team members have access to all that information and can help out with any questions that any of our clients have. So we got our negative COVID test. Some of the islands require an authorization to be filled out as well, and Bermuda is one of those places. It's one of the very strict places actually right now. We're meeting the requirements for travel is necessary in order to be authorized to travel to Bermuda. And some of the other islands have the same. Turks and Caicos, St. Lucia, Antigua, you have to fill out a travel authorization, and we have to do the same to go back to Canada, so that's not unique. But just knowing where that is and having all that information in one place is a very valuable piece of information that we can bring. Filling out that authorization, making sure that it's done on time and the results are obtained. And then really it's the safety and security of, everybody wears a mask from the time you enter the airport until you arrive. There is limited service with food services on board, so you might want to remember that and pack some snacks and so on and so forth. That is getting a little better, but even in the airports, what we're finding is not all of the concessions are open. So, it is a good idea to have a few things with you, so you're looking after that. But then we arrive at this beautiful ship. It's there's levels of cruising just like there is of resorts. So there's good, better, and best, just like there is when you go into a furniture store. I say to clients that not everybody walks out having bought the cheapest furniture, the cheapest Chesterfield in the store, because you recognize that there's additional warranties, there's additional comfort level in the cushions, there's additional wearability and durability, and just overall enjoyment of your purchase. So it's the same way when we're guiding clients through the process to purchase the cruise that they're going to take. Do you want something that is the 3-star experience, or, you want something that's a bit better? The Viking Ocean experience, as I said, they have been doing river cruises for quite some time, but the Viking Ocean on small ships has been operating since 2015. So they have about 5 ships now, I believe, another one coming this year, another one coming next year. So they cover the world. They cover, any area of the world that you're looking to cruise in. It's possible that you may find a great Viking option that you can go with. So from start to finish, from the arrival at the airport, the protocols being followed. We arrived on the ship. Everybody, distancing is front and center. Everybody wears a mask in public spaces, and temperatures are checked every day. The first time you enter a restaurant in the morning, they have these wonderful gadgets where you just stand up, you pull your mask down for a second. It recognizes you by your face and knows your name. Your name comes up, and it checks your temperature. So that's your temperature check for the day, done every day. There's places to sanitize your hands before you enter any of the dining establishments. And into the buffet, they actually have a hand washing station. So it's not just to sanitize your hands, you actually wash your hands with soap before you enter the buffet restaurant. So they couldn't do more. They couldn't possibly do more to make it a safe environment. On top of that, as soon as we got on board, even though we had a COVID test 3 days before leaving to come, when we arrived at the airport, part of the disembarkation process, once you get your luggage and you go through, they do a COVID test, a PCR COVID test at the airport. We arrived at the ship, we did another COVID test. So we had 3 COVID tests done within the 3 days. And every morning you do a saliva COVID test, PCR test. They have a full lab that does those on board. So everybody on the ship is having a COVID test done daily. So if there's anybody that picks up COVID, we will know about it the same day. There's no 2 ways about that. How amazing is that to feel secure?
That's top-notch safety protocols right there, Lois.
Yep, I agree. And, it does feel that all of everything has been taken seriously. My history of working for 25 years as a nurse comes into play with many of these things and the protocols. And, the safety and security is paramount. For me, the time I felt okay being fully vaccinated, which you needed to be to go on this cruise anyway. That's another important piece I didn't mention, which I should have, is that everybody on board is fully vaccinated, and that's a requirement to sailing. So with all of those pieces in play, we do understand there can be breakthrough cases. So that is the piece that a person needs to be okay with that risk. If there is any perceived risk at all, and you're fully vaccinated, it would be an inconvenience. We do know from the stats that, people who pick up a breakthrough case are generally not that sick. And in fact, sometimes they don't even know that they are positive from symptoms. So that is something you have to be aware of when you're traveling these days. And to me, that's the biggest risk there is, for the inconvenience that it would be if I were to test positive and then have to quarantine in Bermuda. Well, I can actually think of a few worse things than having to quarantine in Bermuda for 2 weeks, to be quite honest. So yeah, I could work from here for 2 weeks if that were the case. And it might be an inconvenience, but I have to be okay with that in order to be willing to take this vacation.
Yes, for sure. So, Lois, just following the pictures that you had posted and the videos that you have shared with us over the last few days, could you talk a little bit about the Viking dining experience, the cuisine, the culinary
Yes,
experience?
indeed I could. I'd love to talk about that. This has been one of my top cruise experiences as far as culinary and dietary is concerned.
Wow.
And I've done some great cruises, and I've done some where, this would be an experience that I would love to repeat. And there are some of my past cruise experiences that I do recommend to clients because they have been fabulous, and for sure. But this one kind of stands out. Well, one of the big things is that there are a number of dining. There is a buffet restaurant, which is no longer a buffet because they're actually serving you behind the glass. You just tell that it's displayed like a buffet, but the servers are serving, which is for safety. And I kind of like it better anyway than everybody going along and picking up their food. I kind of like that. I think that adds to it. But there is service for everything else. Like you sit down with what you've selected, and the beverage service and so on is full service. So it is kind of like in between buffet and a full restaurant. And then there is the main restaurant is actually called The Restaurant, which is innovative. But that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a la carte service. And it's fabulous there. Like the service, the menu, there is a standard menu that has kind of staple things for every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But then there's a part of the menu that changes daily. So some great choices there. We've had some great menus there. There are 2 specialty restaurants, an Italian restaurant and a chef's table, which you do get the opportunity to book for those and your times and stuff before you came on board. So we had a reservation already for each of those before we boarded the ship. And they have both been fabulous. Like I can't even tell you. We asked and got a reservation to the chef's table the second time, but then our first reservation at the Italian restaurant was the last Italian meal I think I've ever had in my life. And I have to say that, like it was really, really good. The service is absolutely fantastic. I have never been on a ship or in a resort anywhere where the staff are more kind or well trained and just really on top of their game in every which way you could think of. So yeah, the food has been, and not to mention room service. We had a nice room service breakfast on our balcony one morning, and that was, how I've been at resorts where you get room service and there's one thing missing or one thing misunderstood, or the cream for the coffee didn't come or something. It was on point in every way and presented in a very appealing manner. So that would be a great option too for people who like that.
Fantastic. Sometimes, Lois, I get asked about culinary options that would include gluten-free or keto or high-fat, low-fat, those kinds of words, the buzzwords that people are using today. And I believe, it's my understanding that the Viking Cruise Line also has options, as long as you let them know beforehand, daily options for those diets as well.
Part of the check-in prior to boarding experience includes dietary. So likes or dislikes, allergies, or just preferences are just. And one of the things when I eat out, and this is kind of just a secret about me maybe, but one of the things I don't cook with a lot of salt at home. And one of the things, even in restaurants at home, when I go out, I find that the real good chef recipes and the way they cook is often too salty for me. So this is the first time I ever did that, but I put my preferences a little sodium diet. So
Okay.
mealtime, when they come over, they have a little phone. It looks like a little phone, but it's kind of like a mini iPad, I guess, where they take your order right on that, and when they the room number, they know your name, and it brings it up, and they say to me without fail every time about my low sodium request. Wow. So, it does get noticed. It does get taken note of, and they cater to it in a very thorough way.
That's fantastic. Absolutely.
And we could talk about the destination too for a very long time. Bermuda is a fabulous, fabulous destination. I've been here twice before, not on a cruise, but there is so much to see and do. The island is only like a little over 30 kilometers from one end to the other. But the roads are narrow, and there's lots of little, crooks and crannies and turns and so on. So it takes you longer to drive those 31 kilometers than it would at home, put it that way. So I did post a video on this as well. And for some reason, the electric noise of the car shows up in the video. So it's not that useful. It's hard to listen to it. You don't hear it when you're in the car. I'm not sure why it came out on the video, but anyway, we had one of those electric cars and took it for the day, and actually went from one end of the island to the other and back, from Dockyard, King's Wharf area to St. George's, and shopped around, and then had lunch, and then drove back. It was a fabulous day. It took us between 6 and 7 hours to drive down and do the things we did. And of course, the electric car, we had to plug it in while we were down there because the amount of electricity that it used. It was just one of those little, it's like a side-by-side really with a cab and windows. But anyway, you can see it on, if you're in Great Cruise Finds, you can see the video there, and there's pictures of it too in the story. So that was a really cute adventure that, you don't see. And that option is definitely there and a good choice.
Right.
Forgot to mention, if anybody has any questions, to put them in. And somebody has asked if we're sailing around Bermuda or other islands too. And this is a Bermuda cruise. So it left from Hamilton. It spent overnight here. We were at Seafree. It spent overnight in the Dockyard, Somerset area. And then we're back in Hamilton again for an overnight. So it really is an immersive Bermuda experience. So it's a chance to enjoy this island. And, again, I guess, for people who are taking their first vacation or their first cruise post-COVID, knowing that, it is just circumnavigating Bermuda and you are right here, basically, makes people feel safe, I think. It gives people that courage to do. And I know I kind of looked at it that way. Like I felt like that was a better choice starting off. Something felt like closer to home. But they definitely have everything taken care of on board as far as being able to look after, all the safety and security. They have a full PCR lab on board that runs those tests every day. And I know I asked the question about how many positive tests they're getting. And like these would be breakthrough cases because it's all vaccinated people on board. They have to be vaccinated to come on board. And they told me that they've done over 200,000 tests so far. And at that time, there had been 31 positives. So not that it doesn't happen, it does happen. So having that information, and if people feel, like the risk is not something they want, but, the fact of the matter is you probably are going to need to be willing to take that risk, whether or not this year, next year, or another time, because it is going to be with us for sure.
Lois,
so what that means to people is different in different cases.
Viking Cruise Lines are not your mass market cruise lines. They are much smaller, much more intimate ships. Do you want to just explain a little bit about the numbers of people that they take on a regular cruise and, why they keep it so small?
Yes, it is a very exclusive experience. This ship, the full capacity is 930 guests and a little over 400 passengers. So, crew, 400, a little over 400 in crew, and 930 passengers. So if we were sailing with at full capacity, that is what we would have this week. We are sailing with about 600 guests, so it's about 2/3 of the number that would normally be on board, but they have not reduced the crew. So we kind of almost have like a 1-to-1 ratio, but there is just so much staff around that I don't think it would, another 200 or 300 passengers would make that much difference, because there's just so much staff that they have a higher ratio anyway to give a level of service that you don't normally find. And that's what it means, I guess, to be an exclusive 5+ star cruise line. And it's only small ships that can give that level of service. Like, I've done larger ships, and I know that they're good experiences. That's not what we're saying. But it is more exclusive and more luxurious and more attentive, and a higher level of quality to the food, the dining, the service, everything, than what you can get on a much larger vessel.
Some of the research I've shown, and some of the cruise lines I've actually been a part of, the ratio of persons on the cruise line, the passengers compared to the crew, it's been really high compared to the number of crew that's been there. But what you're saying, even with full capacity on Viking, there's maybe 2 passengers for every crew member at maximum capacity, which is a really, really low number.
Yes, and that is how they keep all that attention to detail. Like, even though there is 600 people on board, we have not seen any lineups. We have not waited for, things. You go to a restaurant. Being able to book a reservation is a really good thing as well, because obviously you go at your time. But even any of the other services and things around, there's a great little coffee shop. They have enough capacity there that you're not waiting. They take your order, and then you can go sit, and they'll bring it to you and serve you. Really good cappuccinos. I'm glad I didn't start having them earlier in the week. They would have, I would have had more of them for sure. But yeah, there's everything is top notch, and a very, very high caliber of quality and service for sure. So it is something that as a team at Travel Time, it is something that we will put on our list of recommendations. Like people who do higher end 5+ star resorts, and you want to do a cruise instead, this would give you kind of a comparable experience. And we know we have lots of clients who like that 5+ star experience on resorts. So if you're one of those, this is for you as well.
So Lois, Viking Cruises does ocean cruises as well as river cruises. I was looking at their website today, and there are some really great prices there for 8 and 10 day river cruises. I mean, they're just amazing.
Yeah. Yes, they've been around in the river cruise market for a very long time. And obviously there's a number of really good players in that market that we're well familiar with. And we always look at, many different choices, I guess, when it comes to that, to see what suits the client's budget and dates and things like that. And more importantly than that, probably when it comes to river cruises, is availability. Because, people plan to go on vacation and they contact us like 3 or 4 months ahead, and feeling like that's a well-planned in advance vacation. For a river cruise, it's actually not. I mean, many people are booking these river cruises up to a year in advance or more. So especially now going forward with so many vacations that were canceled, moved, postponed, for 2022, space is tight, but that applies to a lot of all-inclusive resorts as well as the river cruises. But I guess even though they've been around since 2015, they've been adding ships year by year. So many people listening to us today probably may not have heard of Viking Ocean cruises, which is why we want to get the word out there. Like, this is something that, this experience. Oh, and one thing we didn't mention, which is a crucial piece of information, is that this is adult only. There's no children. So for mature couples who are traveling either with adult children or with no children, this is the experience. And again, even though we love our kids, we're going to beaches, Turks and Caicos in a few weeks with our new granddaughter, and we love that kind of travel as well. We like that adult experience where you get a heightened level of luxury coming your way, for sure, when that's the case. Just check and see if we got any questions here. I know we've had some people listening in and a few comments to us there, but we can certainly answer any questions live if people have questions to post here at all.
And while you're checking that out, Lois, I'd just like to add that in the coming days and weeks, we will be adding many more offers to our Great Cruise Finds web page group. You can find it on Facebook, Great Cruise Finds. You're welcome to join. We'll have special offers there for those that are in the group. You'll see it first on Great Cruise Finds. And if a cruise is what you're looking for, we are here to help you. We're cruise specialists.
Actually, there have been some amazing offers that have been posted in that group. If anybody is looking at that and wants to plan ahead into 2022 or even 2023, that is a good source, because we're looking all the time. If we get inquiries and requests from people, we're scouring, that option. If we come up with something that's really, really good, it gets posted there. So, if you're just scanning back through and seeing, we have exclusive rates with Virtuoso, and that gives sometimes rates that you won't find anywhere else, and availability too in some cases. So that's a good thing to know and be able to avail of, because we have a number of cruise specialists. And Wanda, you have some groups as well that we're gonna talk about them in another live, because Viking Orion took the center stage today, as it should. And so we will talk about some of those. But you have a ladies retreat that I saw some information going through for next November, correct? In 2022?
That's correct, Lois. I am so excited. We finally have put together an itinerary with some stops, and it's a ladies retreat where we'll get together. It's wellness, it's giving back to the community. And we've taken out all 1B balcony staterooms on a celebrity cruise ship. We're so excited. We'll start advertising and putting all the information together to get out to people in the next couple of days.
That sounds good. I'm looking forward to that. I know we have our solo ladies group, but we have a lot of other ladies that would love the opportunity to travel with like-minded. And I know we have something great coming up with a give back program that will be part of that cruise that Travel Time will be contributing to as well. And we will be working with the Sandals Foundation on that as well.
Yes.
But we can say that we are about knowing about the very best travel experiences that are out there for our clients. And we're not particularly only one company or another, but if somebody has a product that is worthy of mentioning and offering, we will do it for our clients and their best interest. So this experience for me on Viking Orion has put them at the top of the heap for this class of ship and this kind of experience for sure. So we will be happy to provide quotes and options on some of that going forward for any of our clients that have cruising on the agenda for their bucket list for 2021 or 2022 now, I guess, or 2023. I don't think any more. Somebody's commenting that her sister loves Viking and has done both river and ocean with them. So yeah, they do offer both. But I think the niche that we're really like to promote here is this ocean experience, because there are tons of ocean going cruises all over the world. And there's a number of companies, and there's a number of companies that do them well. The size of the ship makes a difference to the overall experience that you can expect to have on board. And for a more personalized, luxurious experience, the small ships is where it's at for sure. And just to reiterate, as we did at the beginning, we do understand that people's comfort levels will be very different as far as when the return to travel will be right for them. For me, it's now. I'm here. I'm enjoying this, and this has been a great vacation choice for sure. And we do have people traveling this fall. We have people in Jamaica this week, and people going to Antigua, St. Lucia. So there are people traveling. Whether or not it's the right time and choice for you, that's your decision. So we're here to help you with the information and to guide you through the process of, as I said, there are hoops you need to get through in order to qualify and get everything done to be able to travel right now. And whatever that perceived risk is for you, it's a very personalized, individual decision, and we're not here to tell you when it's right for you. You get to decide that. We're here to give the information. So that I think that concludes what we have to talk about today. I don't know if I can show you. I'll try to lift my camera. I don't know if that give a little view of what. Can see it?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Bermuda in the background behind me there. And this is not an unpleasant spot to be doing my live this week. Quite different than where I normally am sitting when I'm on here doing the information sessions. But I'm very happy to do one from Bermuda this week for sure. So thanks again, Wanda, for joining in and for your input on the cruise experience, which I know that your clients are in good hands when you talk about that as well. So thank you for that. And for any other of our team members, we all have access to the same specials and information that you will see in our Great Cruise Finds page on Facebook. So thanks again for watching. This was a great week and it's a great experience. Very happy to be able to bring this information forward today. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.